Oh, Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my father, my mother, the Tanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Yaho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so Jennifer Morgan is saying, I feel a bit disconnected with God and the angels despite multiple meditations a day. Can they just provide guidance on why and how to bring back the connection? So I'm immediately seeing the card from the Mermaids deck, which is the play card and the have more fun. It's just everything is hard work when I'm looking at how you're structuring it. You're making everything hard work. I know this is about bringing it back to what brings you joy. For me, it's the simplest things. It can be taking a walk on the beach and listening to some loud music. It can be going horse riding. It can be taking out my aisles in a paint. It can be sitting in a coffee shop with a good book. It can be going back to some of my favorite childhood haunts. But sometimes we just need to stop trying to make things happen and let go. And then God can start either moving towards us or move things out of the way or behind the scenes. But whenever we're really trying very hard, it's the control starts kicking in, right? And the interesting thing about divine guidance is that it's often not there's a difference between God's plans and our plans. And sometimes you have to let go of what your plans are so that God's plans can happen, you know? But a lot of that involves joy and it feels counterintuitive. I'm very much having to take that pill myself recently. It feels counterintuitive, especially when there's so much to be done and you are a responsible person. It feels counterintuitive to put everything down and just have some fun, time that's not allocated to exercise or work or dating or children, time that's just dedicated to play and to enjoyment. It can feel like such a waste, but creativity is never a waste. And joy is never a waste. And sometimes it's time poverty that we're suffering with, and that's really like blocking that divine connection, not so much financial poverty, but that time, like we just don't feel like we have time for ourselves, time for a higher power. So it's about making space and time and about really opening up energetically to play. Give yourself a day where there's nothing scheduled except you doing what you want to do and having fun, and then see what happens. Art community saying, hi, Skylar. I'm asking for my daughter. I have her permission. She's 18 years old. She's feeling tired for months, low energy and sleepy. May she have a health scan? What does she need to feel energetic and vibrant again? So they're showing me some sort of a virus that she had and that it's left her body depleted. So they're showing me sulfur, they're showing me iodine, they're showing me B vitamins, like a whole B vitamin complex, B3, B6, B1, B2, like the whole of all the B vitamins to boost the energy, and around 10,000 IUs of vitamin C around the 3 o'clock slump for at least the next 6 months, just to really rebuild her metabolism and her nervous system and her immune system. From a metaphysical perspective, it's low self-worth, right? That's what viruses are. And no energy and sleepy is almost like what I see is that she's got a lot of potential. She's got so much potential, and she's different than other people her age. So she's afraid of following her dreams and leaving everybody behind. And she's angry that she's not being as supported by her friends as she thought that she would be. So there's this energy of this is where the unworthiness comes. Am I not worthy of belonging? Am I not worthy of fitting in? Why are they all doing things that don't really, light me up or turn me on? That kind of energy. Okay. Gabriella saying, "Hi Sky, I always feel anxious about my job, scared of getting fired, not good enough, scared of not being able to go to work, financial worries. May I have a clearing? Thank you." Oh, yeah. Okay, let's call on Archangel Michael. Anybody else that wants a financial clearing, let's do this, okay? So nice deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And I want you to imagine you're in a bubble of white light, and no fear can enter the white light, and nothing inside the white light can be harmed or hurt. And from this space, I want you to see that divine light within you going all the way down to your base chakra. And I want you to feel it dissolving, discreating, destroying all fears around finances. Just giving all of your worries about money, about your job, about your future financial security over to God. Nice deep breaths. Okay, that's looking a lot better. And we're going to ask for healing on your nervous system as well, because you're you're struggling with profound anxiety. So let's just release imagine the negative futures in front of you, right? The futures where you're financially struggling and where things aren't going well. And I want you to let Archangel Michael cut your cords with those futures. There we go. All of these futures you're using to scare yourself. Let's release them into God's hands now. Louise Hay used to say this all the time, stop scaring yourself. There we go. Ooh. Okay. That's looking way better. And then just bringing in the future that you do want, the financial security that you do want, the recognition, the validation, that deep knowing that you're enough. Okay. I'm going to do an energy break. This is why we go so deep into finances and Medical Intuitive Mastermind, because to be a healer, one of the biggest causes of illness is financial stress, financial pressure, financial abuse. So unless you look at this stuff, your body can very much manifest mental health problems, physical health problems, because of the stress that you have around money and finances, and the how much your feelings are out of control. And when feelings are out of control, it puts a lot of stress on the body, and it lowers the immune system and things like that. And that's not just for you, that's for the people that you help and you heal. It's very deep work that needs to be done. Okay, Mitra saying, "Hi Sky, I applied for a mini job in a museum. Will I get the job, or is something better waiting for me?" I have a feeling something better is waiting for you, and I'm asking the angels, they're really showing me something better is waiting for you, but it might be both. You might get the job, and then Mitra saying, "I would love to do medical intuitive, but I'm in no position financially. Maybe next year." My love, come and talk to me. I'll drop you a DM and come and talk to me. Okay. We clear, not only do I help clear this stuff, but there are other options, for things like scholarships and things like that. So if it's just the finances that are blocking you, please come and have a conversation. It's really worth it. Okay, Christina's saying, hey Sky, tomorrow I am officially out of my retreat and will connect with a friend, let him know about the changes that I'm unavailable, and I feel a call to closure with my ex too. I need to grieve internally, or is a Zoom call or final message necessary here? He wanted to know how I am, and I didn't respond. Any advice from the angels regarding all of this now for the next chapter? I think that the response is not necessary. A Zoom call isn't necessary. A reconnection isn't necessary. I think it's especially where you are now energetically. You need to call on Archangel Michael for protection, because all the men that you were with before, from that I'm not worthy perspective, they can feel that you've done the self-love work, and they can feel that you are no longer available for them to tap into as their energetic supply, right? You're no longer there to be like, oh, why don't you want me? You're such an amazing person. I wish you'd choose me. You're no longer in that pick me energy that comes from a low self-esteem and lack of self-love. So it's like their drug supply's just been cut off, right? So the messaging of, how are you doing? And I want to check in on you. It's like, no, you don't screw someone over and then say you want to check in on them. Right? I'm really sorry. That's not how this works. You don't enter into an intimate relationship with somebody and, tell them that you're not serious enough to really be with them, but that you want to check in on them because you care. That's just bullshit. All right? It's just manipulation. It's just wanting to reattach to the energetic supply. So no, you don't. No, don't keep a bunch of people on a string in the background. That's something that narcissists do. It's not something that healthy people do. We don't keep people in the discard pile and then try and hoover them up afterwards. If you were in a relationship with them, or you were intimate with them, and they didn't make a serious commitment, and they didn't show the kind of respect and love that you needed, they've got no business being in your life or in your energy. Okay, so we're going to call on Archangel Michael to just cut those cords, and for you to not be afraid of blocking people on your phone or blocking people on Facebook, particularly people who have treated you badly in the past. You don't have to explain to anybody what you're doing or what you're not doing, with the exception of anyone that you are currently in a relationship with, right? If you were in a relationship with somebody and you said, I'm going on a retreat, and then you come back and you decide you no longer want to be in that relationship, or certain things have to change, that person, yes, you should communicate with. But any exes or things like that, your success, your progress, your growth, your current state of being, what you're currently up to, it's none of their business. Okay? It's really none of their business. So call on the romance angels to clear that up too. Okay, Christina, grief. Oh no, we've just done this one. Sarah's saying, hi, Sky. Is there anything my guides want me to know? And immediately I'm getting pulled to the card deck. So let's see what the Kuan Yin deck has to say. Okay. Oh, okay. First, card number 4, Call of the Dancing Crane. Let's see what the message is for you. Dancing crane moves through waters and muddy marsh with elegance and grace. The mating call and dance of the crane is full of beautiful movement and flow. There are times when the astral waters of our emotional life become stagnant and will benefit from the healing movement, grace, and beauty of the dancing crane. The call of the dancing crane is a reminder that sound can be healing too. This is particularly so when your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns do not support you in living the spiritual destiny you were born to live. Have you ever felt like you were a different person on holidays or when you were traveling? This is because you were free of the astral gravity that you usually live within on a day-to-day basis. The astral plane is like glue. When we put enough energy into habits of thought, emotions, and beliefs and stories from our past, that condition we now interpret current life experiences can get stuck in the astral gravity, unable to let go of ways of thinking and reacting, even if we wish to do so. We can create sticky astral thoughts and beliefs that attach to houses, places, and people. When we are in a different environment, we often have a chance to create fresh habits and beliefs, which is why a holiday or travel can be so refreshing and inspiring. Sometimes, however, that's not practical, and we need healing to break through the muddy stagnation of old thoughts and beliefs right now. As we grow spiritually, we can outgrow our astral conditioning, just like shifting mud out of water so we can move freely and gracefully like the dancing crane. You're being guided through the healing and grace of the universe to stop believing your own stories, your old habits and patterns, and to realize that they are simply astral conditioning. There is no higher truth to them than this. You're allowed to change them. You can choose to cultivate any thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations of experience that you like. Sometimes we're graced with divine assistance that helps our astral healing happen more quickly and easily. We still need our affirmations to change our thoughts and let go of old stories about self-worth, abundance, health, relationships, judgments of ourselves and others. Yet with divine blessings, it's like we get a hand lifting us out of the old ways until we learn to stand in the vibration of our own. We're being asked to allow God to assist you now. God and the angels might come to you in meditation through a healing session or a dream. You may see her as a crane goddess or hear music and the sound that uplifts you into a new vibration. You may feel her guidance in the urge to create a vision board, to say affirmations or a mantra, in a desire to dance or do yoga. Allow her to guide you to the perfect way for you to receive her divine blessings and help so that your affirmations, your vision board made of inspiring images that you love, and your choices to interpret incoming data as evidence that the universe loves and helps you become more powerful than the pull of your past. So let's just take a minute, call in Archangel Zadkiel and Archangel Uriel, and just allow all the places in our past where we're stuck in the astral, all the stories, right, to come through. And we're just going to bring in that energy of the crane, that animal, guide the animal spirit, and let it dance, let it uplift these energies, and ask the angels to cut cords with these places, people, situations. Whew. Just say yes if you'd like this. So releasing all toxic thoughts about abundance. Whew. Releasing all toxic thoughts about your worth. Releasing all toxic thoughts about relationships. Releasing all toxic thoughts about your health. Releasing all toxic thoughts about your potential, about your capacity for growth, about your ability. Releasing all toxic thoughts about yourself as a parent, as a daughter, as a son. Releasing all toxic thoughts about others, their capacity, their darkness, their beliefs, just giving it all to God so that you can return to yourself. Okay, it's looking good. Oh. Oh, last but not least, releasing all toxic thoughts about your future. You have greatness. You have power. Okay. Okay, Alana's saying, hi, Skylar. I'm crying daily. Oh, my love. I feel so disconnected to my angels, unable to manifest change in how life is working and having children, feeling very stuck, lack of time and abundance. Sent before I had finished, sorry. Is there something I'm doing wrong? Can they help me? Many thanks. My love, I'm really feeling the Mother Mary around you so strong, and that I'm really getting the message that you're not doing something wrong. It's just that there used to be a village and there isn't anymore. Right, there used to be a village and there isn't anymore. And you can see a lot of mother entrepreneurs or mother influencers really saying that, you have to pay for the village, which is an act of privilege. Most people can't afford to pay for a village. Um, and even the ones that are, paying for assistance like me, that get child support and childcare and things like that, and that have the privilege of having family close by, um, there's still huge guilt around missing out on aspects of raising your children and some milestone moments. And, every single mom that I've worked with long term has had to deal with these aspects of regret. Mothers, there's a huge mother wound going on. And I'm not just talking about with your mother, I'm talking about in the collective consciousness, the way that we're treating mothers, the way that they're alone. It's not okay. So I'm just going to take a minute. We're going to let Mother Mary start to hoover out the grief, and also this part of you that's blaming yourself, because shame doesn't work, guilt doesn't work, and it just makes a difficult situation even worse. Gosh, I can actually feel some of you sobbing as I say that. This is a difficult situation, right? Raising especially young or adolescent children, raising children is it's a job for an advanced soul. Right? It is 24 hours a day, and we were never supposed to do it in isolation, and yet most of us are doing it in isolation. So let's take a minute to let the angels, particularly Mother Mary, really meet us in this space, because God knows what you're going through. Have you noticed that in the Bible, God always comes and meets women at home? Like, men are up mountains and doing their thing, but women are like cleaning the kitchen or putting their children to bed or sitting in the back garden, and then Archangel Gabriel appears. Right? Biblically speaking, God comes to women because he knows how much necessary work and service we give. We give particularly to our children and to the partner and to the home. That's how much I think God loves us, is that he comes to us in our ordinary work. Normally the ordinary mindless work that puts us into a state of like meditation, right? Whether it's the bathtub or the dishes or the cleaning up the kids' toys or the shower, it's just the ordinary thing. God finds us where we are. And just releasing this fighting against the season that you're in right now, instead of trusting that every season is part of our divine curriculum and that none of it's permanent. So this season might be, a particularly difficult season, whether it's manifesting money or manifesting a business or manifesting time with your children or a better relationship within your family, whatever it is that's in your heart of hearts, right? This becoming, it can be a pruning season where we're kind of getting cut back and not understanding that God is not punishing, God is pruning us, so that the next time we go for that growth, when spring comes, we're going to grow faster and stronger and more capable and more able than ever before. Oh, there you go. All right, and there's such a feeling of not being enough, a feeling like you're failing as a mom. There's so much mom guilt. So can we just let God vacuum all that out? There are no perfect mothers, and it's not all your fault. And there's no space for you to grow in shame and in guilt. It's hard enough as it is. So we're just going to breathe and give this over to God. trust that all of your dreams, all the opportunities, everything is being held in trust for you by the universe. You're not losing it, it's just being held in trust. And that God is making a way where you see no way. There we go. Okay. Matt is saying, Dear Sky, do the angels have any messages for me? Thank you. I'm getting sucked back into the cards again. Let's see what they have to say. We're actually doing a free masterclass this coming week, guys, on the Monday. It's the Healing Children masterclass. So for the moms, for the healers that want to specialize in working with kids, is a completely free masterclass. There will be downloads. People are already flooding me with questions, so I'm getting ready to respond that now. It's going to be this Monday, this coming Monday. Okay. So if you would like the information for that, just drop a heart or a yes, and we will ping that over. It's a completely free masterclass on Zoom for helping heal children. Okay. Same card again, Call of the Dancing Crane. So the energy that's coming up for you, Matt, is the same that was coming up for the lady earlier around the meditation, around clearing the astral. So I'm hoping that's already cleared up for you. If you haven't, go back to the live recording and re-listen to that meditation, and it will clear it up. But it's about this card is really about taking responsibility for the old stories that we're playing. And those old stories can come up in relationships, in our health, in our, not just relationships, intimate ones, but relationships with our children, relationships with our own identity, right? To really shift. Okay. Okay. Hi, Sky. This is from Journey to Divine Love. Hi, Sky. I would love to hear from my angels. Is there anything they need me to know most at this time? Thank you. Let me just scan and see what's coming up. So when I'm looking at your energy, it actually feels really clear. Like they're saying to me, there's nothing in your way, right? It's really clear. There's absolutely nothing in your way. Just letting yourself move into that space, letting yourself shift into it, that you're worthy of it. And almost like and then I'm seeing the ready, set, go card, where the orca swimming in the mermaid deck. There's like the path is clear, go, 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 go. The path is clear, go. And it's going to work out. And I'm getting goosebumps as I say that. Okay, Celine is saying, Hi, Sky. I had a tooth extraction a week ago and it's still very sensitive. Could you please send healing? I have a client tomorrow and worried that I won't be feeling 100%. Thank you. Celine, I'm immediately seeing clove, clove essential oil. So if you can get your butt down to a Boots and ask them for some clove, that will really help numb the area. But I think you're going to have to go back to the dentist because I think they've left a bit of a nerve exposed. That's what I'm seeing. I'm going to ask for an instant healing from the angels as well, just to heal some of the nerve pain. Okay, that's looking good. Love Sunshine is saying, thank you for yesterday, Sky. I will get someone to clean my flat energetically. I assume I can't do that alone. No, you can do that alone, but it helps because sometimes it's like a healing session. Sometimes I know that I'm in a strong place and it's easy for me to do something like clear the flat or clear the room or clear the energy. But sometimes I know I'm weak, right? Sometimes I know I've taken a hit and it's taking me time, whether it's because of an argument with a partner or whether it's because I just given birth, or whether it's because I've already got a lot of clients on my plate and I'm too too energetically attached, right, to my story, to what's going on. So I just ask another person to do it, or I book a house clearing session, and it makes a huge difference. Just doing a quick scan because the angels are showing me to kind of scroll down. Mitra, yes. Gwen, yes, okay. Journey to Divineness and Tears of Literally Joy. Thank you so much, Sky. You're welcome, beautiful. Okay, Gwen is saying, Hi, Sky. I was seeing a healing during a meditation and a story unfolded which I thought may be from a past life. Any messages from my angels regarding this? Thank you. So I'm immediately getting Archangel Zadkiel, and he's really saying that this lifetime needs to be completed. It's like it's still running on loop in your unconscious mind, and it's blocking abundance. So they're saying to book yourself in for past life regression or for healing work in that regard. Vanda saying, Hi, Sky. My mum says I could find a more rich and older partner. It's horrible for me. She did it also before with my partner and says my partner can have a other partner. I know it's her view, but may I receive healing for these words? Thank you. Yeah, let's bring in the romance angels. Now, obviously, I don't know what's going on in the sense of how old your partners or things like that. But the healing is around feeling guilty about needing to be financially provided for by a partner. Okay? So let's release your guilt. Any part of you that feels like you're a gold digger or feels like women shouldn't need to be financially provided for, or is blocking that because they're ashamed of it, let's release all of that now. Okay. Ingrid is saying, Hi Sky, I would like to ask about my twin flame and me. Is our reconnection close? Any insights on what to heal to help this connection, please? Thank you. My love, you have to heal the distortion you have around love because the relationship you're trying to manifest isn't good for you. I'm really sorry, but this is just not a good relationship. It doesn't matter what spiritual title you use to spiritually bypass the abuse in a relationship. This person isn't good for you, this relationship isn't good for you. So yes, if you keep going, this person is going to show up, and they're showing me around spring or around like January and then around spring. But this is not about you healing. This is about you, not about you healing something to be worthy of them. This is about you healing so that you feel lovable and that you feel worthy of respect and trust. Love without respect and trust is abuse, and it's torture. Okay, this person is not good for you, and it's coming in really strong. I'm really sorry if it doesn't resonate, leave it, but that's what I'm getting. Aisha saying, Hi Sky, I've created some digital journal designs that I love and would like to start to monetize them. Not sure if there's a block, but would love the next step for me. Any insights? So what they're showing me is you need to get marketing. You need to get making videos about them, showing the content, explaining why you love these, explaining how they help people. You need to get excited about your creation, about your journals. But the next step is marketing. The next step is letting people know that you make these and that they're amazing and that they can help people. The journals are a big deal. People really love their journals. It's got a big, it makes a big contribution to people's self-inquiry, and it gives them a safe space to explore their own emotions. It's a very important thing. Tammy is saying, hi, Sky. May I have a healing for my tiredness? Thank you. Okay, so this is something that we also cover in Medical Intuitive, is like deep type cord cutting. So let's take a minute and just cut the cords to everybody draining you of energy. All situations, places, relationships, just calling in Archangel Michael. Nice deep breaths. Take 10 to 15 deep breaths with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, okay, that's starting to shift nicely. And then plugging you into God as the source of your energy, and plugging all those people into God as the source of their energy. Oh, gosh, that's looking a lot better. Got goosebumps with that one. Okay, Nicolette is saying, hi, Sky. Can I have a angel message? Yes, of course you can. Okay. So, reveal the peacock beauty. Card number 24. Let's see what the message is. Okay, the beauty of the peacock is breathtaking, with stunning lush color unfolding in graceful and proud displays. You too are a great beauty, beloved. Within you resides a glorious divine being of beautiful light, with an ability to create as your divine birthright. The peacock beauty speaks to you of your creative energies rising to sublime, inspiring new levels as you're accessing the power of your throat chakra for higher creation. Your intentions, decisions, and particularly your words are becoming more powerful. Enjoy the wise use of this growing creative potency to express the beauty within you, asking for divine blessing on all of your plans, projects, and works. Let's just take a minute to ask Creator for that blessing. Blessing on our dreams, blessing on our plans, blessing on our lives, to declare God's power, God's activation, God's love for our projects, for our classes, for our clients, for ourselves, for our relationships, for our health. Declaring God's goodness in every area of our lives, and of those we love and of those we serve. Okay, that's looking good. Scan down to the bottom. Okay, Dana, she's saying, what do I need to know to feel better right now? The message that I got was immediately retreat. Take some time alone in nature, do some really deep breathing or breath work just just disconnect. You're flooded with too many emotions, so just disconnect. Give yourself some space and time to heal. Casey saying, "Hi Sky, I have a question as a theta practitioner. Is there any reason why you opt for angel reading instead of going straight to the creator?" I think because for me, I connected with angels first. I was an angel reader since I was 17, and the angels were God's bridge to me. They're the ones that brought me back to God. And I think I'm very aware of how many people like me are still so angry at God, are still so blocked even by the word creator, because there is so much religious abuse. Whereas angels are more multi-denominational and interfaith. They're in all faiths. Whereas when I use the word creator, it limits me to people who are spiritual instead of including all the religions that are Jewish and Christian and Muslim. And I then get blocked in because the moment you say creator, right, people know you're not talking about Christian God or Jewish God, and they're like, oh, this person must be spiritual. Whereas when I stick to angels, it's across every single faith since the dawn of time, from shamanism to all the old religions to all the new religions of spirituality. um and to me, angels are face of God. So it took me years to get back to creator. I wasn't ready for theta for a long time, and I had a lot of work to do once I discovered theta with um religious programming and stuff, to get rid of all of my fears of God and to really be able to hear God's voice deeply. But angels were helping me get healthy and heal and help other people long before I could hear God's voice. So, they're always going to have a very special place in my heart. And I probably had many incarnations with them inside the angelic realms as well. So that's why I give angel readings, despite now, for almost 10 years now, having a really deep connection with God's voice. Um, because that's where I began, and I think we kind of speak to our old selves sometimes on the journey, or the people who are like us. But yeah, that's why I honestly feel that people are a lot less triggered by angels and by their messages than they are um by creator or God, or that word in itself has the potential to shut so many important messages down, just because of too much trauma and too much control that's been used. I also think that people also, when something comes from God, it's that energy of it being more of an authority instead of more of guidance. So I like to stick with giving guidance because I really believe in the power of readings. And that's also why, I make my readings as positive as possible, even when they have um, triggering content, is because I think that when somebody believes you, then it has the power to change your future. And you really want to be as gentle and as loving, as kind as possible. It really drives me mad, probably from other lifetimes, that there are people who will misuse their psychic gifts in that way. Um, no one died and made me God this morning. So your relationship with God is much more powerful than my relationship with God. In that sense, that we all have our own unique curriculum, and that yours is between you and God. I think Vianna says that quite a few times in her relationship programs, when she says, your relationships are between you and God, whether you stay or go, whether you the decisions that you make, they're not for anyone else to make for you. And I'm very much in that space. I love God deeply. I love Creator deeply, but my angels and me, they've been there with me a long time. So that's why I stick with them. I stick with them. Monica saying, are there any messages my higher self is trying to convey to me, but I'm not listening? Thank you. I think that the message I'm getting from Rangers, like, take action, take action. They keep telling you to do things. They keep telling you to study. They keep telling you to get out of isolation. They keep telling you to, like, step into your power as a spiritual teacher, and you keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. So the strong messages, the messages that you're getting, but um, you keep getting stressed about the how. So a lot of actually, that's coming up as, like, I'm seeing lots of you lighting up with that one. Um, when God tells you He's going to make something happen, right? Whether it's a theta healing class or a medical intuitive mastermind or your soulmate relationship or your business, or get out of the way. Let me tell you a story. So I remember when God told me that I was going to move from Aberdeen to London. And you hear the laughter because that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, that's never going to happen. I don't like big cities and I wouldn't know where to begin, right? I couldn't afford it. I would hate it. And it makes no sense. I don't know anybody in London. And I remember saying, okay, God, if you want this to happen, make it happen, right? If you work it out, I need a job, I need a place to live, I need friends, I need community. If you want it to happen, fine, I'll get out, but I can't do it. I'm not going to try. It doesn't feel like my thing or my way. I kid you not, within a month, my grandparents who live in Brazil, they don't even live in the UK, send me a message saying that they're going to London and do I want to meet them in London? So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come down and see them. I haven't seen them in ages. I go down to London and my grandfather asks me for some help with the herbs for healing his heart. And we go into a health food shop and I'm explaining to him which herbs are most going to support his heart and healing, because even back then I could feel that call, right? I knew I was a healer. I didn't know I was a medical intuitive, but I knew I was a healer, and it was manifesting in the herbs, in the essential oils, in the vitamins and minerals. It was really calling in, and people were already asking me to support them, but it wasn't a business. It wasn't anything. It was just, to me, it was just my hobby. And as I was helping him with the herbs and explaining to him healing the emotions around the heart, right, giving and receiving love, and I remember there was this man, a really lovely Indian man, that was turned around looking at something else on the shelf behind us. And it turned out that he was the head of one of the big spiritual talks and events and something in London. So as soon as I'd finished helping my grandfather, and my grandfather was at the till paying, and I was looking for my stuff inside the health food shop, he came up to me and said, I really thought that what you said was really lovely. I'd love you to come and talk to us and explain to the people at my group how the angels can help them and how herbs can help them and things like that. I thought that what you had to say was really nice. And I thought he was talking about like 5 people, 10 people, his friends. And I was like, okay, as long as I can bring my grandparents along because they're only here for a short time, I don't mind stopping by before I leave. I'm only in London for a week. So let me know what evening. I can only stay for a couple of hours because obviously I'm here with family. I kid you not, I rocked up to the event and it wasn't 10 people, it was 400 people. And I'd never done angel readings for a large number of people, not even 10, 5, 15. And then suddenly I was in a room holding, like, I remember my voice almost going. Um, and then I remember walking up on stage and just starting asking people, just like I was with you, what are your questions, and letting the answers come through. And from there I made friends. That was where my invitation to come and live in London came from. That was where my job came from. That is where my client base came from. So sometimes you don't see how God is going to make something happen and it doesn't make any sense to you yet, right? But it will all come together and it will all manifest if you get out of the way and you say, God, work it out. And then you just actually follow the synchronicities and you do what brings you joy. Okay. Okay, so Aberforth is saying, hi, Sky. Can I get a scan, please? Thank you. Okay, so immediately they're showing me your shoulders and your collarbone, and there's like a feeling of heaviness, like so much responsibility, and feeling like you can't trust yourself with all this responsibility. So let's just take a minute and remove all the doubt and all this feeling of I'm not able, I'm not clever enough, big enough, capable enough. Just release all of that stuff. Okay, that's clearing up nicely. Okay, Mina, I'm going to drop you a message. Anyone else, guys, that's wanting to do medical intuitive, drop me a DM. Okay, it's me that you're going to talk to, or Rosie or Hera, and they'll put you in touch with me. It's really, some of you are so powerful, it's ridiculous. Some of you have got no idea who you are, got no idea that your gifts are what they are. But trust me when I'm saying this, that you are healers. You know this, you were born this way, and that you deserve to fulfill your divine potential. So many of you are asking, how do I get a clear connection to God? How do I step into my full divine power? How do I activate my divine gifts? If you want to learn to do what I can do, if you want to learn to do the body scans, if you want to learn to do the identification of the core wounds around these deep unconscious issues, if you want to learn how to quantum jump and do multidimensional lives, if you want to learn how to discreate disease and you want to do it in a container where you have so much love and so much support and so much time, then if you feel that calling, it's because you're supposed to be here, and it's because I'm one of the next steps in your journey and you're one of the next steps in mine. Okay, so it's your mission, it's your purpose. And please, please, please drop me a DM. Okay, please don't wait. Please don't let that voice that goes next year, when I'm ready, whatever the time is now. You wouldn't be here listening to me, talking to me. You wouldn't feel resonance with me if there wasn't if there wasn't like that healing gift crying out to be fully activated. Okay, so let's do our closing prayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I will send the ones that said yes the information for the kids healing masterclass next week, which is completely free. Okay, let's do our closing prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted, to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.